I'd like to step into the shoes of a property buyer. I'll be asking all the questions the buyers want answered.
Is my taking the right property? Is my money safe? And what happens next?
What documents do buyers need, and is this different for UAE residents versus international buyers?
People think you have to have the UAE residency visa and then you can get a property in Dubai. That's not the case at all.
How do payments actually work in Dubai, and how are buyers protected?
When the money comes in, it doesn't come directly to the developer.
They've already paid 50%. They're also eligible to get up to 80% as a mortgage, so they can get some of their money back.
You actually start getting mortgages when the handover process starts.
How long does the registration usually take?
When it comes to Dubai and Abu Dhabi, the authority, the registration fee, that's different.
What if a client wanted to cancel their unit? Would they be able to get their money back?
And of course, you asked me that.
What are the most common mistakes that buyers make when purchasing a property? Welcome back to the Married Talks podcast. I'm your host, Harley Jenner, and in every episode, we go beyond property to explore how great people and bold ideas design the way we live, work, and connect. Today, I'm joined by Jawad Aqiq, an experienced sales and finance professional with a proven track record across the UAE's real estate sector, including Samana Developers, Mulkity Management Consultancy, and Franke Middle East. Today, as Senior Team Lead Sales Administration at Merid, Jawad leads key sales operations and finance functions, overseeing real-time pricing accuracy, reporting, and broker coordination. Jawad, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me, Harley.
I'd like to step into the shoes of a property buyer, someone who's excited about purchasing a property and looking to invest but unsure how, and how the Dubai real estate process works. So from paperwork and payments to mortgages, registrations, and what happens after you say yes, I'll be asking all the questions the buyers want answered. So, the first question, what are the most common concerns property buyers have at the very beginning, and how do these change later on?
Well, at the very beginning, most buyers are very excited but cautious. Their main concerns are that, is my taking the right property? Is my money safe? And what happens next? The most interesting part is when they start understanding the journey, when they start understanding the whole process, timeline, the legal terms, and the legal protection. That anxiety turns into confidence. And also, at every stage, when we start telling them the whole process with transparency, with a lot of information that we want to give about our projects and about our properties, then they start relying on us, and then they start feeling supported, not overwhelmed.
For someone who's watching who's never bought property in Dubai or the UAE before, where exactly do you step into the journey after the buyer chooses the apartment, and what happens next step by step?
So when a buyer chooses a property, that's where my role really begins, because we start the process with the reservation of the unit, and we locks in the price. And also then we outline the payment plan for the client, so there are no surprises there as well. And then from reservation, then we start moving to SPA, which is also called sales purchase agreement, and that is the legal document. At every stage, or I will say that at first, I make sure that the whole process needs to be discussed with the client with transparency, and with all the information that they required, so that, as I mentioned, that they feel supported, not overwhelmed.
Okay. And what problems do buyers usually come to you with at this stage?
Yeah, at the very beginning, I would say that they ask that, am I doing this correctly? What are going to be the next steps? And what should I do after the reservation? So for sure, when I tell them like clearly that, this is the whole process, this is how your apartment goes from reservation to SPA to registration, then everything just goes clear to them. And then of course there is like no unclear regarding the information and all.
And you must get many questions from clients as well. Do many people worry about not having a UAE bank account, for example?
Yes, then I would say that that's not a problem at all, because majority of our clients are international, and they pay with different channels to us, and obviously we guide them how to. So there is no surprises there at all. Yeah, so they can buy like from international buyers.
Okay. And what documents do buyers need? And is this different for UAE residents versus international buyers?
When it comes to documentation process here, it's very straightforward. When it comes to UAE residents, we ask for passport copy, Emirates ID, visa copy, and obviously contact number, email ID, and physical address. Of course, the same process goes to them as well, but we don't ask for Emirates ID in UAE visa because obviously they don't have it. And also, I want to say, add one thing more, because a lot of people think, especially international buyers, that you have to have the UAE residency visa and then you can get a property in Dubai. That's not the case at all.
Okay.
So, and it's in a good way also, that you know that there is no surprises there.
So for
Um,
international buyers, they would just need their passport copy and
Contact number, email ID, and physical address. Yeah, and also we provide them a KYC form, which is also called Know Your Customer, which is required by our compliance officer, where there is a detailed outline about their obviously passport details and their physical address, and of course their financial information and all, which is confidential. But of course, like we have to like check the background of a client also.
okay. And how long does the registration usually take?
When it comes to registration, if everything is done correctly, if they have provided all the information what we have requested them, then it takes usually 2 days to get the certificate of Oqood from the Dubai Land Department.
Okay. One of the biggest concerns that buyers usually have is money flow. How do payments actually work in Dubai and how are buyers protected?
You know that how the process works when it comes to, because you have bought a property in Dubai as well. So it's a very well structured when it comes to Dubai, and when it comes to the payment plan for off plan properties. There is a payment plan which is outlined in the SPA, and client knows exactly when to pay because there is a timeline. And also that money goes also not directly to the developer; it goes through a regulated channel. So
Okay.
obviously the buyer feels really safe, and they feel that their money is safeguarded.
Okay, great. And what is an escrow account and why is it so important?
When it comes to escrow account, that is the regulated account,
Okay.
which is overseen by Dubai Land Department. And obviously, when the money comes in, it goes directly to that escrow account, which is held there, and it doesn't come directly to the developer.
Okay, so the developer cannot touch that money.
No, not at all. But when the construction progresses, then where the money goes to the construction only.
But
And
they'd need approval for this.
of course,
Okay.
from the Dubai Land Department, yes, absolutely.
Okay. And what if a client wanted to cancel their unit? Would they be able to get their money back?
Yes, there is a whole process where they will just get the money, but obviously it's all related to the milestone of a construction. So there are specific percentages which they will get once they cancel the unit, obviously from the developer, but it also goes through the same channel of DLD.
Okay. And talking about mortgages, if a client wanted to get a mortgage, when should they start this process? How different is it from Europe and other markets? And how easy is it?
Coming to your first question about mortgages, obviously it starts during the handover process, because obviously when it comes to off-plan properties, you actually start getting mortgages when the handover process starts. At that time, obviously they need to get the pre-approval with all the documents that we have it already as a developer, and also there is going to be very few that bank is going to require during that pre-approval process. Obviously we have a detailed outline mortgage videos, a podcast I would say, which you have seen it. So we can maybe just add a link below
Yeah, and this
just
is
to know, like, you know, how the mortgage process work. And also, as you know, our mortgage advisor Amit from Line Mortgages, obviously he's going to take step by step about the mortgages to our clients.
and how easy is it to get the mortgage?
It's very efficient and very well structured when it comes to Dubai. And of course, you asked me that about the like how different is than other market when it comes to Dubai.
Yes.
It's very well structured. It's very efficient. And of course, no, it's not only for the self-employed people. It's also for the salaried people as well.
Okay.
So
Because a lot of people have concerns when they're self-employed that it's more difficult to get a mortgage.
whether it's like self-employed or it's like salaried people, the process is like very smooth, and they have like a very particular questions where they're going to ask that provide me your salary certificate, provide me like the bank statement of yours,
Okay.
and of course the documents of the properties, they're going to take it from the developer.
Okay, great. And if someone has for example, a 50-50 payment plan and they've already paid 50%, they're also eligible to get up to 80% as a mortgage, aren't they?
Absolutely.
So they
yeah.
can get some of their money back.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, great. We hear terms like DLD, Oqood, and TAS. Can you explain a bit more about what these are?
Yes, think of DLD is a regulated authority on the developers, and obviously they just register the ownership of the property. When you buy a property from a developer, obviously you get the sales purchase agreement, but at the same time, when you register that unit in Dubai Land Department, then you get a certificate, which is the official ownership of yours of that property. And when it comes to Oqood is this system for off-plan properties, and of course, which records the ownership of that properties in the DLD system. And what we also call it a Oqood certificate. Obviously, we are going to get it after the registration of that unit.
Okay.
And when it comes to task system, it's also a structured system where it monitors the money inflows and outflows of the escrow account of the buyers, and of course, when the money goes out for the construction.
Okay. And obviously, DLD is only in Dubai, and the other Emirates have different authorities.
Absolutely. As you know that when it comes to Abu Dhabi, where we have our project Rivera Residences, that is registered in ADGM in Abu Dhabi. Yeah. So obviously, every state have their own authorities. Yeah.
Okay, great. And at what stage does the ownership become officially registered?
When you pay the down payment, and then when you sign the sales purchase agreement, obviously from the buyer side and from the developer side, then we register that unit in the Dubai Land Department, which, as I mentioned, that it takes not so long, and then you get the certificate at the same time.
Okay.
Yes.
So the registration isn't when you get the handover, the registration is as soon as you get the Oqood.
Yes, absolutely. Which is like at the start of the property that you pay the down payment, you sign the contract, and then you get the certificate.
And the Oqood is the off-plan version of the title deed. So
Absolutely.
on handover, then
Yes.
then
During the
title deed
handover,
would be
then it
issued.
changes to title deed.
Okay.
Yes.
And you've worked with different developers in the UAE. From your perspective, what does Merit do differently when it comes to the sales operations and buyer's experience?
What stand out in Merit is that we don't do the one-time transaction with the clients. We take care of them from the start till the end, obviously. And when it comes to our departments, we have a very strong coordination between sales, finance, and operations, so that the buyers feel safe and the buyer feels not left out. And obviously, we don't want the buyer to feel that they are passed around. So, and also for us, as I mentioned, that it's not a one-time transaction; it's a long-term relationship, which I have seen it in marriage.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Merit developments are iconic residences designed by Pininfarina in Dubai and Riviera residences designed by Herzog and de Meuron in Abu Dhabi. How does the client journey differ between each one?
When it comes to the quality, it's the same. And when it comes to structure, of course, it's different. Because when it comes to Dubai and Abu Dhabi, there is a different price range. And obviously, when it comes to the authority, that's different. As I mentioned here, it's DLD, there it's ADGM. And obviously, the registration fee, which is 4% in Dubai, and in Abu Dhabi, that is 2%. So I would say when it comes to our clientele's portfolios, it's just as compared to our iconic clients.
Okay.
But to our surprises, I have seen a lot of merit clients who end up buying properties in both cities, in Dubai and in Abu Dhabi, of course, in our project Iconic, as well as in Rivera Residences, because they trust the process and they trust the product.
Yeah, that's great.
Exactly.
So, with your close role with clients, you end up having a good relationship with them. What's the client that stood out the most to you?
Well, Harley, you know also that I have a very, very good relationship with most of our clients, and
Yes.
you have seen it also.
I have.
There is this one client. Obviously, I'm not going to name him, but a few months ago, when he came to our office and we had a discussion with him, so he was very skeptical. He asked a lot of questions about obviously the process and the properties and everything, and we had like multiple meetings back and forth, and then that anxiety, as I mentioned in the start, turned into confidence. And that client brought almost 10 of his friends after 2 weeks of his buying a property, and all of them end up buying properties in Iconic. And then all of his friends, including him, they bought properties from us in Rivera as well.
That's amazing.
So
that shows the
obviously
level of trust that they have in the company.
Yeah, and it also shows, and it's also very rewarding as well when you trust your clients and then they trust you back.
Yes. So I've heard about the Dubai Trust app. What is that?
It actually shows the off-plan properties developers, because obviously when you are a buyer, especially when you are a new buyer coming outside of Dubai or UAE, so obviously and these are off-plan properties, you can't see the properties there.
Yes.
It's under construction.
And especially for international buyers as well, who aren't here to view.
Exactly. So the best part for them is they can just review that project from the start in the app, and they can, when we registered them in Dubai Land Department, then that unit also shows his name and his property and also the value.
Okay.
So yeah, so they can just check everything. They can check also the progress of the project also, that how much is being constructed, how much is going to be constructed also.
Okay, and does that show from project registration, or is that when construction officially starts?
That start during the project registration. When you done with the project registration, it automatically goes to that app, and anybody can see that, of brokers, clients, anyone.
So our Iconic Residences buyers can see the progress
Absolutely.
in person. And from your experience, what are the most common mistakes that buyers make when purchasing a property?
Well, the common mistakes are not thinking straight, rushing into things. Also, when you're relying on incomplete information. So I would advise that not to rush, and obviously just ask a lot of questions, know the process, you understand the process also, how it works, and understand how the developer works, and not just see the price only, because a lot of clients, they overlook the process, overall process. So my advice would be just see how it's going to go, because for sure when it comes to the information that you have it when of the developer, then you will see that how rewarding is your investment.
Yeah, and to keep note of the payment dates.
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so for someone watching this and considering their very first property, especially in Dubai, what's the one piece of advice that you give them before they confirm?
As I mentioned before, that do not rush into things. Do not buy just a property, buy into a process that you understand and trust. So once everything is clear, that investment turns into much more rewarding. I have seen it. So this is my advice for the one that really wants to buy a property.
Okay, that's great. Thank you so much for all of this information. This conversation has been full of insights, and I hope it helps future buyers with their purchases.
Absolutely.
So
My pleasure.
I'd like to end the podcast by asking you a few questions that I ask all of our guests. So the first one is, what does luxury mean to you?
Luxury to me is a peace of mind, knowing everything is done properly and thoughtfully.
And what matters most to you when choosing a property?
When choosing a property, obviously transparency, long-term value of that property, and also trust the developer.
What do you think will matter most to the future generations in their homes?
For future generation, I would say smart design, sustainability, and communities that truly supports how people live.
Thank you so much for joining me today, and I'd love to have you on the podcast again soon.
Thank you for having me. Absolute pleasure. And I want to do it again for sure, Harley.